Hi, and welcome to this episode of John's Model Kit Review. In today's episode, we'll be looking at Eduards 1/48 scale Messerschmitt Bf-108 B Taifun. This is Eduard kit number 8052. The Bf-108 Taifun was a World War II era liaison aircraft. Over 600 of these aircraft were built, and they served with distinction on all fronts during World War II. In this review, we'll be looking at what comes in the box. We'll also be taking a look at the kit instructions and going through those. We will look at the detail on the interior parts of this aircraft. We'll also take a look at some of the other detail parts included with the kit. We'll talk about the fit of the kit transparencies and the clarity on those. We'll also talk about the fit of the major parts on the exterior of the kit. We'll also look at the surface detailing that comes on the kit, and we'll take a look at the marking options that are available in this kit. We'll talk about the decals that are included in the kit and how those performed. And finally, I'll be giving my conclusions at the end, and we'll be attempting to answer the question, is Eduards Bf-108 Taifun the best Bf-108 kit currently available? Looking at what comes in the box, there are 3 sprues of plastic parts, as well as a sprue of clear parts, a set of canopy and wheel and painting masks, and 1 clear film sheet with the instrument dials printed on it. Step 1 covers the cockpit floor and seats, and there are 2 options here depending on which marking option you choose to build in this kit. The assembly here is very straightforward. I suggest taking your time and really detail painting everything very nicely because there's going to be quite a bit visible through this large cockpit canopy. I added some seat belts made from styrene strip, and they dress up what is visible through the canopy. Step 2 covers the assembly of the engine. I found this step to be needlessly fiddly. Several of the push rods, and that is parts C16, broke while I was trimming them from the parts tree, so I would recommend being really careful in this step. The first part of step 3 covers installing the cockpit walls and the rear seat, and then attaching the cockpit assembly to the lower wing and the upper wings to the lower wing. You can see in this photo the detail on the cockpit walls looks nice through the canopy. The first part of step 4 has you installing the engine in the fuselage half and then closing the fuselage halves around that and then attaching the tailplanes and the rudder. Again, there's a choice depending on which marking option you choose. The second part of step 4 has you joining the fuselage assembly to the wing assembly. Everything went well here and I didn't have any fit issues. Step 5 covers assembling and installing the landing gear and other small bits on the underside of the wing. The detail on these parts looks nice and everything assembled very easily. My only complaint would be that the gear doors are a bit on the thick side. Step 6 is the assembly and installation of the instrument combing. There are 2 options here. I chose the upper option, which uses parts C24 and the instrument dials that are printed on the clear sheet. That gives a really nice representation of the instrument dials on the instrument panel. The final step in assembly is installing the clear parts and the front of the engine and the prop. And this is another area where I really had a lot of difficulty. For whatever reason, my clear parts were warped and they did not fit the fuselage well at all, and I spent a lot of time gluing them in place. I had to hold part D1 in place with rubber bands until everything's set up. In the process of installing the canopy, I did crack the rearmost port side window. You can see that in this picture. It's not super noticeable. I know windshields cracked on the real aircraft as well, so I decided to just leave it alone. Once the canopy was in place, I used the very nice cockpit canopy masks that are included in the kit. Those function very well. Looking at the marking options included in this kit, there are 2 marking options. The first one is for a North African aircraft, KG-EM. This is the one I chose to model. The second marking option is for a Continental aircraft in the dark green and black green splinter camouflage. The decals themselves performed very nicely. They settled well into the panel lines, and I had no difficulty applying them. The decals are opaque, they're in register, and they really look nice when completed. The engraved surface detailing on this kit is not overly extensive. What is there is consistent, it's relatively petite, and everything looks nice under a coat of paint. Overall, I'm really happy with the way this kit turned out. The engine compartment is a little bit fiddly, but the overall detail on the kit is very nice. If you take your time and get the engine assembly correct and the canopy successfully installed, you will really have a nice, clean build. It's much easier to build than Eduard's later Bf-109 series of kits. Even though the Bf-108 is a liaison aircraft, it bears a striking resemblance to the Bf-109, and it looks really neat on the shelf. Is Eduard's Bf-108 B the best Bf-108 kit currently available? I actually think this kit is the best Bf-108 kit currently available. There's just not that many options out there for the Bf-108 Taifun. I would recommend this kit for modelers with some experience. And if you treat it as a high-end, limited run kit, you will really get a nice result. Well, I'd love to know what you guys think. If any of you have built Eduard's Bf-108 B, please feel free to comment in the comment section below. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative. And until next time, model on.